Good evening, everybody, and welcome to What's Going On. I'm Maddie.
I'm Mandy.
And today's topic is witches. But first of all, hello Amanda.
Hello, Maddie.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How's your week been?
It's been alright. Nothing overly interesting. I mean, I've got a job interview for next week. That's pretty much it.
That's exciting though.
Excited, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's like 28k a month.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is good considering I'm an admin, so.
Yeah, it was more than I earned at our last place, and I did project management. But yeah, I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. Good luck.
Thank you. How's your week been?
Um,
Not seen much of you.
I've been busy. Yeah, I've been really busy. I saw an old friend from high school, which was nice. Hadn't seen him in about 8 years, actually. And then I saw another friend for dinner. Alistair, the guy that did our cover art.
Oh, nice. Shout out again.
Shout out again. Yeah, I went to a really nice Japanese restaurant. And I'm not going to try and pronounce the name. But the ramen was incredible.
Mm-hmm. I've never been to a Japanese restaurant.
We need to go.
Yeah,
We
I'd
do
love
need
to
to
go.
go. It's really, they're good.
Yeah.
I love like that kind of food.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I went out on Thursday as well.
Mm-hmm. Tell me more.
I had a little date.
Date. You kept that quiet. I knew you was busy,
I've
but
been very secretive about it.
Yeah.
Because if it was shit, then I didn't want to tell you.
that's fair.
No, he's someone I went to sixth form with actually. Not that he remembers me. I was in the year above him anyway.
Oh, older.
But yeah, no, it was good. We just had like a few drinks. It actually ended up being a really long date. About 5.5 hours, I think.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was good. I laughed so much.
Yeah.
Like I came home, my cheeks were just like aching. I don't think I've ever laughed that much on a
Yeah.
first date.
A guy that can make you laugh like that is a keeper straight away.
Good vibes.
Yeah.
So we're seeing each other again.
Oh yeah, when have you seen each other?
Tuesday, which by the time this comes out would have passed.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah. So
it must have made an impression for you to see him again, because I know you.
rude but true. Yeah. So we're gonna go to cinema and watch Speak No Evil. So by the time we next have our next episode, I might have some thoughts on that movie.
Oh, I hope the date goes well.
Thank
The second
you.
date, damn.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you made it. You made it.
Yeah. Take it from someone who knows. You did good.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Very. But what's your drink of choice tonight?
It is drum roll. Burrito, mojito. That
A mojito.
mojito.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. It's a bit fizzy, which is weird, but I like it.
I have a little passion fruit martini. This is my favourite cocktail. It's good. Not as good as when you get it at a bar,
Yeah.
but never is. But yeah, so we are on the cocktails tonight.
Tinny cocktails.
So yeah, grab a drink, join us, and we're gonna start deep diving into witches. So we'll start with the history of witches. I know that you've looked into Salem, so I'm not gonna touch on that. But witchcraft did start a very, very long time before Salem, but it's obviously the one that everyone knows. So it's unclear exactly when witches first appeared in historical records, but what we do know is that the belief in magic and those who could wield it predates Christianity by centuries. In fact, one of the earliest literary references to a witch can be found in Homer's Odyssey, written around 800 BC. Magic also features heavily in Roman law statutes. Plutarch, writing around AD 100, references witchcraft in his treatise on superstition. Roman law also heavily featured prohibitions against illicit magic. However, many of these early laws were aimed at sorcery, not witchcraft as we know it today. Witchcraft, on the other hand, to sorcery, became associated with harmful and destructive magic over the years. One of the most significant early references to witchcraft comes from the Bible. In the Book of Samuel, thought to have been written between 931 and 721 BC, it reads that King Saul, desperate for guidance on how to defeat the Philistine army, seeks out the witch of Endor to summon the spirit of the dead prophet Samuel. The witch successfully raises Samuel's spirit, but the news is grim. Samuel foretells the death of Saul and his sons in battle. The prophecy comes true, as the very next day Saul's sons are killed in combat, and Saul, in despair, takes his own life. By the mid-1400s, Europe was gripped by witch hysteria. Accusations of witchcraft spread like wildfire, and many of those accused confessed to a variety of wicked behaviours, often under torture. Witch hunts became common, and most of the accused were executed by burning at the stake or hanging. These women that were killed were often single women, widows, and others living on the margins of society. Women who didn't fit into the mould of that society were easy targets, basically, which is why most of them were women, although there were some men that were also targeted. So between the years 1500 and 1660, as many as 80,000 suspected witches were put to death across Europe. In England, the fear of witches became codified in law. Henry VIII's Witchcraft Act of 1541 was the first to define witchcraft as a felony, punishable by death. Around 80% of those executed for witchcraft were women, believed to be filled with a lust and in league with Satan. Then, obviously, infamous Salem witch trials happened, but I know you're going to touch on that.
You can talk, yours will probably be different to what I say anyway.
I didn't really look into it that much, actually. I kind of just skipped over it because...
I mean, I'm not going to go crazy in depth, there's just some little bits in there.
But, that was, the kind of last huge thing that happened. But, sorry, I am coming down with something. But when do you think the last witch was?
Fuck knows.
If you had to guess.
I don't know. When the last witch was, before people started accepting them, or?
The last convicted one.
Probably around the Salem trials.
So, it's actually in 1944.
Fucking hell.
So, there was a Scotswoman called Helen Duncan who was convicted of witchcraft under the 1735 Witchcraft Act, which had been repealed and changed slightly, but it still allowed for fines or imprisonment for those that claimed to have magical powers. So Helen Duncan was a clairvoyant and medium who held seances to contact the spirits of the recently deceased, and it was a seance in 1941 that led to her most infamous moment. So, during one of her sessions, Duncan claimed to have summoned the spirit of a sailor who had died in the sinking of HMS Barham. The problem with that is that the sinking had not been yet announced to the public. So, the authorities grew suspicious, and by 1944 they arrested her because they were basically scared she might somehow know and reveal more wartime secrets. So although the charges were more about national security than witchcraft, she was prosecuted under the still active Witchcraft Act of 1735, and she did 9 months in prison.
Fucking hell.
So that was the last convicted witch, was actually not that long ago.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy how it came to a stop to that as well, didn't it? They just randomly stopped punishing people for being witches.
Yeah. It was in, I think it was 1736, because they kind of repealed the law.
Yeah, it's such a bizarre thing. Okay, they're fine now. They can live. After torturing all these women, they can live.
I think it was just attitudes changed and...
more accepted, I guess.
Yeah. And they kind of realised that actually a lot of the people they were putting to death... Because if you think about their, tests of if you're a witch... It was we'll tie a stone to you, and if you drown, then you're innocent.
Yeah, it's insane.
And if you don't, then
you're fucked.
You're a witch and they kill you anyway. It's kind of a lose-lose situation, isn't it?
Terrible. Yeah. So bad.
But Salem was the most famous part, so tell me about it.
Well, mine is a bit random, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't study it or anything. I was just looking at bits about it. It's just about it in general, but also just about witches in general. So obviously Salem is clearly known to be one of the popular places regarding witches because of the witch trials. God, I feel when you're in school and you have to read in front of the class.
You have to give a presentation, yeah.
But yeah, what's crazy is it's said today that obviously in Salem there's between 800 to 1600 real living witches in the town. So like to this day, um, though the town is known for its history of the Salem witch trials, it's become one of the most popular places in regards to real witches and is often looked at as the town to be in for Halloween. Now, what I want to say about that is it's just crazy to me how like times have changed in regards to the witches things, like I was saying earlier, because they've gone from murdering the women and, you know, literally torturing anyone that seemed to be a witch to now everyone's supporting them in their craft to this day. Um, yeah. What else was I saying? I get nervous. I was just wrote a little thing about how society is actually now with witchcraft something to look up to. It's kind of fascinating because like there's people who have like YouTube channels on witchcraft, like people just support like rituals and stuff like that as well. But for me as well, like imagine being part of a coven. How sick would that be? Like I'd love it. Just how times have changed is actually really funny because if I said that back in the day, I'll be fucking hung. I'll be like, I want to be part of the coven. Absolutely drowned. So you know the people who put obviously the witches to death and on trials and stuff like that. Imagine they like got brought back just to watch this generation, like their reactions. I want to bring someone back from the past to see their reaction on how we treat witches today.
Like a witch hunter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just want to bring them back and just like, watch them, like watch how they react to it. Because like yeah, we support this.
You'd have to explain the concept of YouTube to them as well, though. Yeah. I think that might blow their mind.
They'll think that's witchcraft though. They'll be like, this world is witchcraft. It'll be insane. I love it. Drama. What else? What else? Oh, there's different types of witches. I wrote a little bit about that as well, but I'll come back to that bit in a minute. Because I was talking more about Salem when and my notes are literally everywhere. Because as you can tell, I'm not as good as Maddy at this. Because I'm a bit of a random one. I heard a little interesting fact on Salem actually. So their normal population is around the 40,000 mark, whereas like around Halloween/autumn time it goes up to 65,000 visitors because of how popular it is. So that's like a drastic increase. They actually have to advertise for people not to bring their cars because they generally don't have the space for it. So it goes to show that it's obviously known for witches and the witch trials and how people actively go there to celebrate the culture of Salem and what it's known for. And I love that. Like that's on my bucket list to go there, just to like feel the vibes and everything as well. Because a lot of people have said about when you go there, the eerie feelings that you get like in certain graveyards as well. But yeah, I did find a little thing that they've got a whole memorial stand for like all the witches that were murdered, and the men as well. There was men that were murdered. And the Book of Life is on that gravestone as well, just to celebrate the people that obviously got completely annihilated for absolutely no reason. But for me, it's just more fascinating how times have changed, like how we've accepted it now.
Do you think out of the like 80,000 people that were convicted, men and women, do you think some of them were witches?
Probably, yeah. I'm gonna say it. Why not?
And we're back to conspiracy theories. No, I believe in witches. Yeah. I do. I believe in magic, and I definitely believe there is some things you should not mess with. I mean, we briefly touched on this before about like spirituality and that kind of thing, and yeah, definitely. I think there were some witches back then. I mean, there still are now, but you know, I think it was a bit
more intense back then.
Yeah. But if you think about like how religious everyone was at the time, and obviously witchcraft goes against that kind of belief. But yeah, it being accepted now.
That's the thing back then as well. They just thought it was all bad, like dark magic. Like there's good witches out there as well. Like it's not all just I'm gonna murder you, put a curse on you.
Yeah. So I wanted to touch on voodoo actually, just because of what you mentioned about light and dark witchcraft. Because that's sort of what I found, and it kind of led me to looking into voodoo. Because in common culture, voodoo's very like this evil and dark thing, and but it is actually a really long established religion. It has Afro-Haitian origins, and in our pop culture, it's portrayed as like it's like pure black magic, and it's connected with like harm and sacrifices. But the main practice of voodoo is healing, actually. And it focuses on healing by attempting to expel evil spirits from within the body. There are animal sacrifices. They have a very like a belief in that blood has power, but you find that in like a lot of religions. Even in Christianity, blood of Christ. But there is, yeah, like voodoo is protective. It will protect people. And the whole idea of it just being this negative thing is completely
Yeah, false.
and our fault as well. It was vilified by Western society, basically. And a lot of negative connotations come from Hollywood movies. But interestingly, you know, voodoo dolls, not from voodoo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're actually primarily based on European concepts of witchcraft. And they're not prominent in voodoo, and they've actually been denounced and said like it's completely irrelevant by the high priest, oh for goodness sake, high priesthood of Louisiana voodoo. So I thought that was really interesting, because that is the thing that I think most people connect with voodoo because of Hollywood and Western culture.
See, if I was the master of voodoo, if I was the source of it, I'd summon myself and teach these people a lesson. Going back to the dark side now.
Yeah, I just found that really interesting, like while I was looking into it, because I do find voodoo really fascinating. But yeah, it's another thing white people ruined.
That's the thing though, the word voodoo just sounds like quite scary. Like voodoo, because of what Hollywood has made it.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, like you said, it's actually more peaceful than like that. So yeah.
Yeah, but they have very strong distinctions between light and dark magic. And most of voodoo is light magic, and there are some people who practice dark voodoo. But it's very,
Do you think voodoo is more powerful than witchcraft?
yes.
There's something about it. It's crazy.
I think it's more to do because witchcraft is like magic, and voodoo's all to do with spirits. And I think there's a lot more power in that than anything else.
I see that.
It's definitely not something I would mess around with.
No, me either.
No.
Definitely not.
And if I wanted protection, I think voodoo would be where I'd go.
Same, to be fair.
But yeah, so that was a very brief history. But I do have two spooky stories for you. One of them is the one you sent me, actually. How we decided on this topic.
The one on TikTok, that's me doing my research.
It was a TikTok she sent me about a famous witch and what dragged us into this in the first place. So it's that one, and I have another one that is another one I found that I find really fascinating. But yeah. So should we have a little break? Give everyone else an opportunity to grab another drink because I need another one. So we will see you very briefly. Welcome back, everybody. As you can tell by our appearances, we're a little bit cold. My house is quite drafty. But we have topped up our drinks. So what have we gone for this time?
The one that you had, the passion fruit martini.
Good choice.
Cocktail when it can.
I have a just like a Malibu pineapple one. It's really good though, actually. I know my friend that would like it because I feel like every time we go out, I always see him drink. He always orders like Malibu and pineapple juice. It's good. It is good. But yeah, we were getting into some stories, weren't we? So the first story is about the one you sent me. And it is about the Wicked Witch of Camden Town Tube Station. We're going to be stepping back in time to 17th century England, a time of superstition, suspicion, and strange disappearances. Our story centres on a figure so infamous, her legacy still lingers at one of London's busiest underground stations, and her name was Ginny Bingham, also known as Mother Damnable. Ginny was born around 1600, though the exact year remains a mystery. She was the only child of Jacob Bingham, an English brickmaker who lived in Kentish Town, a short distance from what is now Camden. There's very little information about Ginny's early life, but at just 16 years old, Ginny found herself pregnant by her boyfriend, George Coulter. The young couple lived in a cottage built by her father on a spot that's believed to now be Camden Town tube station. But their love story was short-lived as George was arrested for stealing sheep and was hanged. After George's death, Ginny's life took an even darker turn. She became involved with a man named Darby, a drunkard with a temper to match his love for the bottle. The two fought constantly, and one day, Darby simply vanished. No one knew what happened to him. Whispers spread through the village. Had Ginny, with her sharp tongue and fierce temper, done away with him? Suspicion grew, especially after another tragedy struck. Ginny's parents, Jacob Bingham, and his wife, were charged with witchcraft, accused of using dark magic to kill a young girl. The courts found them guilty, and they were hanged. Alone and shunned by her neighbours, Ginny sought solace in yet another man, a man named Pitcher. But again, Pitcher also vanished. His charred remains were eventually discovered in the oven of Ginny's cottage. She was charged with his murder, but when a witness testified that Pitcher often hid himself in the oven to escape her rages, Ginny was acquitted. I find that so funny.
That scared you hide in the oven.
Yeah, it was literally that I think it was like a friend or an acquaintance or something said no, like he used to go just hide in there to escape from her. Yeah. By now, the locals fully believed she had mastered the dark arts, and with her vicious tongue, they had given her several nicknames: the Shrew of Kentish Town, Mother Redcap, and most famously, Mother Damnable. She became a recluse, rarely seen, and only coming out at night or when other people weren't around. No one knew how Ginny paid for herself, but it was believed to be through the unusual visitors she seemed to attract. One of them was a wealthy man seeking refuge during the English Civil War, who she helped in return for payment. Another lodger who took up residence in her cottage was Moll Cutpurse, a notorious thief and highway robber at the time. But her reputation for witchcraft never faded. When the wealthy fugitive she had harboured died suddenly, many believed Ginny had poisoned him. Once again, the authorities investigated, and once again, no evidence could be found. As she aged, Ginny became more isolated. Her only companion was a black cat, an animal often believed to be her familiar. She made a living by telling fortunes and offering cures for various ailments, but her fearsome reputation never waned. The exact date of Ginny Bingham's death is unclear, but most agree that it was sometime around 1680, and her death was just as strange as her life. According to local legend, on the night before she was found dead, the devil himself was seen entering her house. Many witnesses claim they saw a dark, shadowy figure slip inside, but no one saw him leave. According to an old pamphlet from the time, hundreds of men, women, and children were witnesses of the devil entering her house in his very appearance and state, and that although his return was narrowly watched for, he was not seen again, and that Mother Damnable was found dead on the following morning. That morning, Ginny's body was discovered slumped in a chair by the fireplace, stiff and cold, and beside her was a teapot filled with a strange herbal brew. Her cat was still alive, but shortly after being fed from that same teapot, its fur fell out and it died within hours. To this day, the tale of Ginny Bingham continues to send shivers down the spines of those who hear it. Camden Town tube station, which now stands where her cottage once did, is a bustling hub for London commuters. But beneath the noise of the trains and the chatter of passengers, one has to wonder if the ghost of Mother Damnable still lingers, watching, waiting for the next curious soul to pass by.
I like that one. Insane woman just killing all these men.
Well, that's the thing. Do you think she did?
I mean, it is weird how, 3 men just disappeared. One of them was so scared they hid in the oven.
It was 3, yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be something about her to hide in the oven.
It was all 3 of her lovers.
Yeah.
And her parents were also tried for witchcraft and hanged.
Well, she was cursed and they did generally mysteriously die.
Oh yeah, it could be very well that she wasn't the witch. She was
Cursed.
by a witch, maybe.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy. 3 men.
3 men, yeah.
Can't get one to stay.
There was no, because she had a She got pregnant, but I couldn't find any information on her child.
Yeah, maybe she didn't. Maybe she miscarried.
Maybe. But yeah, I like this one.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Like, I never expected to come across that. It was so random.
Because I think there's also a pub called like the World's End Pub or something.
I think it was opposite where her cottage was.
Yeah. So there's conflicting stories about whether it was the pub or the tube station that her cottage was built on.
I want to say the pub just so it sounds cooler.
People say that I think there's been like sightings and stuff, and people find the pub really eerie and
Like that.
yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been to the pub?
No, I've actually never been to Camden actually.
I don't know if I've been in there, but I know I've been around that area.
Yeah. Because it's at a crossroads as well.
Busy road. It's crazy, isn't it?
There's a lot of lore about crossroads and crossroad demons and
Good old supernatural.
good old supernatural fans, shout out.
Summon the yellow-eyed demon.
But that could also be why all that, that stuff went on if it was at a crossroads.
And they're saying that the devil entered the house. Well, a black figure, which they assume to be the devil, could just be a demon. Could just be something out to get her. Poor girl. Poor girl.
Well, they said the witches were what was it? Like in cahoots with the devil. So it's
Maybe she done something bad and this is like a punishment.
maybe, yeah.
Maybe she messed around a little bit with dark magic and shit went down.
Well, she was a herbalist for many years for all the local townspeople. That is a reoccurring theme in nearly every witch story that I looked at, was that they were all herbalists for the townspeople.
It's crazy how she was a herbalist and then, which sounds like she died of poisoning, because if her cat drank the tea, lost his hair and then died.
That was my other question. Do you think she killed herself, or do you think someone poisoned her?
I reckon someone did it to her. Or she had enough and just thought, yeah, fucking take the easy way out.
I think she killed herself.
Maybe all the stress was too much.
Because it would have to be, like, whatever tea was made, she would have had the knowledge to have made it, yeah.
That's very true. Maybe she was cursed then, and she just had enough of all this shit happening.
Yeah, because I feel like if I was a witch, and if you were a witch and knew magic, you'd be able to protect yourself.
But then, if it's to a point where the fucking devils come into your house, like, nope.
A lot of people saw someone go in. Maybe she didn't do it to herself.
Maybe. Or maybe she did because she was being tormented by him, and it was just too much.
But I mean, like, if we assume that that wasn't actually the devil and it was a person.
If it was an actual person, yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't reckon it was the devil. It's probably like a demon or something.
You don't think Lucifer himself would pay her a visit?
No, he's got other things to do down there.
He's a busy man.
He's a busy lad. Just feel sorry for the cat, you know.
Yeah, it was actually the people that found her body fed the cat. Like, they physically fed the cat the tea because they wanted to know. Because obviously, if you think this is... When was this? 17th century.
Poor cat, though.
They've not got, like, chemical analysis and labs and stuff, have they? So their only way of knowing if that tea was poisonous was to feed it to the cat.
That's evil.
And then it died.
Poor bloody thing.
But what gets me is it died... It took 2 hours to die, so it makes me wonder how long it took her to die.
Yeah, did she lose all her hair as well? That would have been a freaking sight, wouldn't it?
Didn't say. Just there was no description of her body other than it was cold and stiff, like most bodies are when they're dead. Funnily enough.
Maybe the cat just got really stressed, lost all his hair, and then just died from stress.
I don't know. Maybe you know this, but like, because with familiars and stuff, I didn't know if it was a kind of thing like because they have a bond with a witch.
When the witch dies, the familiar dies.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
But then because the cat was still alive, because obviously if the body was stiff and cold, she would have had to be dead for quite a few hours, yeah. But the cat was still alive. Yeah. And then they killed the cat.
They did kill the cat.
Yeah.
That's really tragic.
Not intentionally, I don't think.
No, they did.
Well, yeah, but I think it was because they wanted to know what the tea was rather than... Yeah. But yeah.
Poor little thing. But yeah, I have a feeling that she was cursed. I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then took her own life, yeah. Especially being a herbalist, she can brew up that tea, can't she?
She would have known how to make it, yeah.
Imagine that though, losing 3 lovers. 3.
Yeah, especially if one crawls into a literal oven to get away from you.
But then she must have been somewhat scary to hide in an oven.
Her nicknames were because of her vicious tongue, so she was really quite crass and
Verbally abusive.
yeah. So there was accounts of like when things would go wrong in the town, they'd kind of like a mob would go to her house and kind of yell at her, and she'd lean out her window and yell back basically.
Good for her.
Yeah, right? If a mob turned up at my door, I'd probably yell back, but
I'd be like, do you want a cup of tea? Promise it's not poison.
so I think that's where a lot of her nicknames came from, was because she was quite...
Well, maybe that's what made her more angry, because like people were starting to feel type of way about her and she just got bitter.
Yeah, they wouldn't leave her alone.
But why take it out on your man? Some women.
Well, so the first one died because he was arrested for stealing sheep. So that was on him, really.
No, I mean the one that hid in the oven.
The one that hid in the oven, yeah. I mean, why would you climb into an oven?
I don't know.
But then someone had to turn the oven on. Yeah. Because think about it, it's not like, well, you know how I just cooked dinner and I just turned a dial and it went on.
But then saying that, maybe she was cursed and there was demons around her / in the place. He saw the demons, got all crazy scared about it, hid in the oven.
Oh, what, her lover saw them?
He started to see weird shit. You just don't know, do you?
And that's what he was escaping from. And then those forces are...
Just killed him off, because she was cursed anyway.
Because the second one or third? Her second one disappeared.
Just disappeared.
Yeah, so the first one was hanged for stealing sheep. The second one was the drunkard, who was an angry guy, and he just vanished. No one ever knew what happened to him. Yeah. And then the third one was the one, he also vanished, and then they found his remains.
Yeah. That's crazy. Being hung for stealing sheep is also a bit mad.
Yeah, different times really, isn't it?
Just hang you. Oh my god.
But yeah, so she had 3 lovers die, and her parents were also tried for witchcraft and killed.
It makes you wonder if the parents maybe got too into it and then the curse dropped down to her. And maybe they were doing some dodgy shit.
Yeah, maybe. Because I couldn't find any evidence that her parents did actually kind of practice any of that. Because her dad was a brickmaker, I think. Yeah, he was a brickmaker. He served in the army as well, I think, for a short time.
A brickmaker on the side. A witch by night.
Yeah, you think her parents might have been...
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I do wonder, because, like, where do you learn that kind of stuff from if it's not from your parents?
Yeah, that's true. Friends, I guess, like mutual people. You just overhear some people and you're just like, alright, I'm joining in.
In the 17th century, though.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
But yeah, so that was the first story.
What do you think? Do you think it was a curse or...?
I don't... I'm torn, because I would say that she did do it. I don't think she had any involvement in the first guy. I think that was just...
What he did.
Man stole some sheep, yeah. That's his own fault. But I think the second and the third guy... Especially the second one, if he was a drunkard and she was protecting herself, and that's why he disappeared. But then I think, like, if you kind of hear about witch stories when they get rid of people, it's a bit more like, you know, gruesome and or like a murder rather than just simply vanishing. Because he was a drunkard, he could have fully just passed out in a trench somewhere and died of hypothermia.
Yeah. And then she killed herself from the guilt or something.
No, not guilt. She can't get guilty about him going and passing out and dying somewhere, really. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. I think it's difficult because there were so many witness reports of a figure going in and assuming it was a person and not the devil himself. Yeah. Maybe she was
poisoned.
Yeah. Or because the townspeople did blame her for like every little thing that happened. Maybe one of them went in and
Decided to kill her off.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I do think she was cursed though. I don't know why.
A lot of people died around her and vanished. Yeah.
Yeah, poor girl. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah, so I have another story for you. And this one is about Mother Shipton. So this was one I found that I find really, really interesting. But yeah, I'll get into it. So the next story is about Ursula Southhill, more widely known as Mother Shipton. And this story has been shrouded in mystery for centuries. In 1488, in the small town of Knaresborough in Yorkshire, England, according to the legends, Ursula Southhill's... It's either South Hill or Hill. I'm going to go with South Hill. Her birth was anything but ordinary. She was born during a violent thunderstorm, and from the moment she entered the world, it was clear that she was no ordinary child. Some say she was deformed and ugly, born with a hunchback, bulging eyes, and twisted limbs, a physical appearance that would only fuel the fears and whispers of those around her as she grew older. But the strangeness surrounding Ursula didn't end with her appearance. One story from Ursula's early childhood particularly stands out, one that people in Knaresborough whispered about for years. When she was just 2 years old, her foster mother left Ursula alone at home to run errands. When she returned, she found the front door wide open. Afraid of what she might find inside, she called the neighbours for help. Together they entered the house, and as they did, a strange and terrifying sound echoed through the walls, a wailing chorus of unsettling noise that they described as 1,000 cats in consort. They searched frantically for Ursula, who was nowhere to be found in her cradle. But then, to their horror, they looked up and saw something impossible. Ursula, naked and cackling, was perched on the iron bar above the fireplace where the pot hooks were fastened. That event cemented the idea in the townspeople's mind that Ursula was not just a strange child, she was something far more sinister. But as she grew older, she learned the art of herbal medicine and began to help the people in her town. Despite their fears, many relied on her skills as a healer and herbalist. At the age of 24, Ursula married Toby Shipton, a carpenter. The townsfolk were shocked by the union, whispering that poor Toby must have been bewitched to marry a woman so strange, so deformed. But whatever the truth of their relationship, it didn't last long. When Toby Shipton died suddenly, suspicion immediately fell on Ursula. The people of Knaresborough believed that she had caused his death, either through witchcraft or some other dark power. Heartbroken and vilified, Ursula retreated from the town and moved into a cave deep in the woods, the very same cave where she had been born. There, surrounded by the elements and nature, she found solace and began to embrace a new role, not just as a healer, but as a seer. She started by making small predictions, foretelling local events and offering insights into the lives of the people in her town. But as her predictions came true, her reputation grew. Soon, Ursula was known far and wide as a woman who could see the future, and she began making grander prophecies about the monarchy, about England, and even about the future of the world. Not all of them came true, but there are whispers that she might have even predicted the Great Fire of London. Ursula Shipton died in 1561, but her legacy didn't die with her, and there is one place in particular that has been forever linked with Mother Shipton, her cave, and the strange well that lies beside it. Known today as the Petrifying Well, it's England's oldest visitor attraction, and for good reason. For hundreds of years, people have come to this place to witness the strange and seemingly magical events of objects turning to stone. Everyday items, teddy bears, hats, even shoes, are left in the well's water, and over the course of just a few months they become completely petrified, as if turned to stone by some ancient spell. While science has since explained that the water is rich in sulfate and carbonate, which leads to this rapid petrification process, the legend of Mother Shipton continues to haunt the area. Many visitors still claim to feel her presence, catching glimpses of her figure passing in the shadows near the well, hearing whispers in the wind.
That is quite creepy, actually, the hunchback stuff. Poor, like the mum that had to give birth to that. How did she survive?
I don't think a hunchback is particularly
You don't think that would be horrible to pass?
Is it that bad when it's born?
Could you? It's bad enough giving birth to a head, Maddie.
Oh yeah, once the head's out, then
But the hunchback though, that's like a head, shoulder, and then a bulge, like another head.
well, you don't know how big it is when it's born.
Maybe it's just like a massive shoulder. Even still though, it's quite horrible to birth, I think. Poor woman, I'll start there.
Her mother, yeah.
Poor mother. But yeah, that's a weird one. I don't know if I feel, you know, when they said about the partner, I don't think she murdered him or anything. I reckon she did love him.
Well, it's to do with the fact that they believe that she must have bewitched him in the first place, because she was, like, all accounts of her was that she was a truly horrific looking woman, basically. So they were like, she must have bewitched him for him to marry her.
That's awful, isn't it? Maybe he just really liked her personality. Yeah. She might have been funny. I feel bad. I feel bad for this woman. She might have just, you know, had the chat and like.
Yeah, and like we obviously only have accounts of what she looked like from what was written at the time. There's not any like photographs or anything.
Yeah.
So it might have like she might have literally just had
A hunchback.
Yeah.
But still pretty. But because they see that as an imperfection.
Yeah.
Oh, she's ugly, she's evil.
Signs of the devil, wherever.
I've got the worst hunchback ever, especially when I sit down.
Yeah, I can't say my posture is brilliant. Watching back these videos, I'm like, oh, I should correct my posture. Now I feel like I have to. But yeah, so I don't think she killed him either, because she literally, after he died, isolated herself from society. Yeah.
You literally mourned him, ran away from everyone, causing her chaos. Like, no.
But then, just because she maybe didn't kill him, do you think she did bewitch him?
What, as in like put a spell to make him fall in love?
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm going to say yes is because maybe that's why something tragic happened for him to die, because every spell I feel like has a consequence.
Like cost of magic.
Yeah. Maybe she did, and then the consequence was a sudden death.
Yeah, maybe.
Could be that. But if she didn't, she's definitely got a chat.
What do you think? Did you think she was a witch?
I don't know. Maybe because of the predictions, actually. Maybe she had sight. I think she might have had sight. But I don't know if she was like a full-on witchcrafty type of witch. Did she was it herbal stuff she studied as well?
Yes.
Maybe then. Like maybe she had the capability. But I think she was more one for sight.
She's known as one of England's most famous prophetesses. Yeah.
A witch of sight. So yeah, I'd say she was a witch then.
There was definitely accounts of the smaller things she had said about people in the village had come true. There was some accounts, so the ones that have kind of been debunked are this guy wrote about her after she died, and said she'd made predictions about there's this one that she like predicted the future, like cars and stuff, like what we know now. But the guy that wrote it made it up.
Oh,
yeah.
So the one about the London fire was that there was whispers at the time after it happened about the Witch of York, which was her, had predicted it. So I think there was definitely things that.
Yeah, that's a crazy thing to predict.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Imagine that. Imagine you're just that lucky that you just assumed.
Yeah, I think she also said something like the world was going to end in 1880 or something.
So she was off on a timeline then.
A little bit, yeah. But it's like, do you remember when like it was like that Mayan calendar came out and everyone thought the world was going to end in 2012?
2012 is, they still think the world's at a standstill, don't they, from 2012? Maybe we all did die in 2012 and this is just like some illusion shit. Yeah. Yeah, that was a whole weird thing about that. But yeah. That's maybe another topic.
So maybe another topic, yeah. Witches. But yeah, what about the well stuff? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's odd. But then if it's proven by science, like I can't really say anything on it if scientists have got there first.
Well, I am more on that side of science and logic. But I think there is something about it. Because Yeah, so the idea of it is like a high level of those minerals turns things to stone a lot faster. Um, but I think this woman who had a violent birth, we don't know if she had a violent death. But I do believe she was a witch and she isolated herself from society and, died alone in that cave. 100% she still haunts it.
Yeah, I don't see why not as well.
I think she definitely has an effect on that petrification because there's people like say they, feel her presence or they've seen her or heard her.
Oh God, what noises does she make?
Just like I think it's like whispering. I think people say
I believe it. I'd love to go there and like feel the vibes.
you can buy. So you can buy like teddy bears that have been petrified.
Yeah, I want to go in the cave.
I think it's like all blocked off.
We'll find a way.
Yeah, break in at night. But would you want are you not like kind of, I don't know, like for me I wouldn't ever buy like any the things that got petrified because I think there's some part of her that's in
Yeah,
it.
it'd probably be a bit cursed, maybe.
Oh yeah, 100% it'd be cursed.
I'd stay away from it.
Because then you're bringing that energy back with you.
Yeah, she's like, well, yeah, part of her is in it. So yeah, no, I won't mess with it.
Why do you think though, if she is haunting this place, let's say, like why do you think maybe turning things into stone is her kind of thing?
I don't know, maybe it's just something she came up with as she passed. She was like, alright, I can do that then.
I could just turn things to stone.
Turn things to stone.
Yeah. It's a strange one because it doesn't have any kind of.
It's random.
Yeah, it does feel a bit random, which I guess leans into the science side and why it's more believable maybe that it is just these minerals in the water.
Or it might just be something she sussed out.
Yeah.
So strange.
Well, she didn't choose that cave to be born in.
Yeah, that's true. As if she was born in a cave.
Different times, wasn't it? Yeah. Probably still more hygienic than a lot of hospitals, actually. Because the water in that well, the people at the time believed as well that it had healing powers. And that is likely to do with the minerals that was in the water. Medicine back in that time probably wasn't fantastic. But yeah, spooky, isn't it? Very spooky.
Imagine how pissed off Medusa is.
Yeah, that's my thing.
That's literally what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So you believe she was a witch?
Yeah. Same as you, like the seer kind of like a prophetess.
Profiteer?
I think there are people in this world that can see.
They have the sight,
yeah.
the gift. Am I one of them?
No, manifesting things is very different. Yeah, no, like I think, I don't know. Don't think I'd ever go and visit the cave though. No. I think that kind of thing freaks me out a lot.
It like latches onto you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially if you are scared, it's like victim.
Just yeah. Oh, I don't know. It creeps me out. But that's another. I'd never go to Salem.
Really? Why? Too eerie?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I love it.
I think places like that, and where a lot of people died, or there's these, they could potentially be cursed.
Yeah. Yeah. Pay respect to the sisters of Salem.
Yeah, it's different if you're paying respects, I guess. But I don't know. I think I wouldn't want to be around something where that energy could latch on to me, and I could take it back home with me.
That's the thrill of it, Maddie.
No, especially when I live here, like it's kind of creepy around here in the middle of nowhere. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'd just be too. But I'm a big believer in like spirits and stuff latching on. But I guess it would be difficult for one spirit to latch on to. Think about how many.
Yeah, you'd have to be like the chosen one because how many people go there? Why you? It's like...
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, there's so many people that go there and buy these little petrified objects.
I wonder what she's doing.
Cursing. Probably cursing some people. Yeah. But I guess if she's cursing each object, and that's why it petrifies so fast, then that energy is within that. Yeah. And you're just buying it for $5.99 at the gift shop, you know?
Imagine she's actually at rest and she's just like petrifying it so people just shut up and leave her alone.
Yeah, it's actually the marketing team has to go
Yeah.
down like every month and be like, "Oh, can you just make like a few more, do you
I've
know?"
had enough of this shit. But she just wants a day off.
Yeah, just like, come on, guys, it's bank holiday, like, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I do believe it. Definitely think there's some witchiness in there. Yeah, I reckon it was a love potion or something backfired for him to die. Maybe a little bit suspicious on that.
Yeah, that's your one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause that or she's got game.
Mad game, yeah.
One of the two. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
because funny people win all the time.
They do. They do. If someone can make you laugh, that's all you need, really. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe she did bewitch him, but it's a very different time because it was like if you looked any kind of different, because that's what I said right at the start was that the people that were targeted were the outcasts that were single women at like what 20 probably and like maybe looked a little bit different because you know the whole thing about like, all the witches mark and then it was like a mole.
I'd be fucked.
I'd be fucked. I have so many moles. Yeah. Or like a birthmark or something like that.
Yeah, that's insane.
So her with her hunchback didn't stand a chance.
She was done.
I bet it wasn't even that bad of a hunchback.
Yeah, it's probably just like literally like how I'm sat right now. God, I'd be a right creature in that cave.
Yeah, and that was it. Just
Yeah, maybe she did like bewitch him, but with charm. Like maybe it wasn't even like a spell or anything.
just seduction.
Fell in love with
Yeah.
the personality.
But I did have one more question for you. So with like more modern like witchcraft and stuff, are you like a big believer or?
I actually am, especially people that like do all the herbal stuff as well. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think it's been explored quite a lot. I think witches, like people that claim to be witches these days, they're very spiritual. Like they do a lot of like meditation and stuff as well, and manifesting and stuff. But yeah, I do believe in the craft for sure.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how much of it, of course, is true, and how much of it's just like gone on mainstream. It's like, oh, the whisper technique, you know, all this weird stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like some of it's definitely blown out of proportion, but I feel like the genuine stuff does work. Yeah, I believe in it. Do you not?
Yes and no. I definitely believe that witchcraft has always existed and that there are people that are in tune to energy within the universe and can take advantage of that. Whether I believe a lot of
Or like spells and stuff.
like YouTube witches and stuff, not as much. I think that for me, if you are a witch and you're practicing actual like magic and stuff, that's probably something you keep to yourself. Yeah. And like yeah, I think that. But then okay, my other question for you is, and this is a fun one because I always think about it when I think about like Salem witch trials and stuff. If your neighbour was annoying you, would you accuse them of being a witch?
No.
No, I would.
Why?
Because then you get rid of them.
But they die though.
Yeah, but like, what if they're like a really awful neighbour?
Like what are they doing? With a partner being really loud or?
What if they try and steal your man?
Yeah, then they die.
Okay, they're not even going to accuse them of being a witch. You're going to kill them yourself.
Yeah, I'll do it myself.
Like, I don't know, like steal your sheep or something.
I wouldn't let someone die for stealing my sheep. I'd just have a word, a strong word.
Just if you really, really hated someone.
I don't know.
No.
Because then I feel like I might turn dark.
I would accuse them. We're like, witch!
Which, yeah, I don't know. It depends what they're doing. And like, if they're like a nonce or something, absolutely. But that's like an extreme, innit? Like someone that's like a criminal, I guess.
Yeah, but like, and this is going to sound awful, but...
If they walk up the stairs too loud.
But like, were pedos really a thing at that time? You know what? Everyone married young, though.
Yeah, they're all nonces then.
Yeah, but like, they were also young.
Yeah,
I
true.
feel like they all got married at like 15.
Yeah, they were very young. But even still, I'm pretty sure there was like men out there that wanted a 15-year-old. And they're like 60. disgusting behaviour, by the way.
Sometimes have just, not changed.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's probably I think that's what happened a lot, though, was that if you didn't have a neighbour you liked, you just accuse them of witchcraft.
That's evil.
Well, I think it was like up to 80,000.
Yeah, there's loads.
Men and women.
No, I couldn't do anything pay if they were like a bad person, like a criminal or something. Then yeah. If I've witnessed it though, like if you hear the person screaming, like fucking hell, witch.
Because that's the thing, though. I think at the time it was like, if you got accused of that, you're not shaking it.
Yeah, you're done.
You're done.
Yeah. See if you float.
Although a lot of them died in prison.
Yeah, that's true. I did see about that. I can't believe that there was actually men trialed. I thought it'd literally be all women.
Yeah, no, men as well. I think it was mostly women because...
Like 5 men or something out of all of it.
Patriarchy,
It's a man's world.
Well, because the image of a witch has always been this, as far back as the records go,
Ugly creature.
has been like a wart-ridden hunchback woman.
Yeah. But yeah, to answer your question, no. Unless they're a criminal. I wouldn't kill them, Maddie, or let them die.
I would. If they were really annoying me, I would like, that one.
That one did it.
Police, this one here. Yeah, no. But yeah, so those are my thoughts. Those are your thoughts. That's all I had for you today. Our next episode, probably more conspiracy theories.
Maybe, or true crime or something.
True crime, yeah.
We have a little look-see.
We'll have a little look-see and we'll probably drop some teasers and let you know.
I do have an interesting one about the Titanic, though, if you want to go there. About them swapping the boats, but we'll go there.
Oh, okay. I haven't heard that one before, so you have to tell me about that one. Yeah. And yeah, Robert's been sitting nicely.
Yeah, Robert's behaved.
He's behaved this half. Good boy.
You know you'll kill him if not.
Yeah, I will accuse him of being a witch.
Said you'll kill your neighbour.
But no, thank you for joining us once again. And
And goodbye.
goodbye.